Hello and welcome to the Checkpoint Reach podcast. I'm your host Luke Elden. Today we're joined by Sudden Perks. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, pretty good. Not much changed too much. Obviously we all watched the event and stuff, so I guess we've got our opinions still about that.
Can't wait to discuss it in more detail.
Yeah, because that's why we're here. We obviously watched Inside Xbox event yesterday. We put out a quick reaction video as well, and we did say on that we're going to talk more in depth about it on our podcast in a longer format, and here we are. So before we jump in though to talk about the event, Inside Xbox events, make sure that you subscribe, like and comment below with your thoughts on what you've seen. Were you happy or were you as disappointed as us? Because spoiler alert,
we were disappointed.
We were disappointed.
We were. I want to first jump in with Inside Xbox. Aaron Greenberg addresses fan response. General Manager of Xbox Games Marketing, Aaron Greenberg, has addressed the response to May Inside Xbox 2020 stream, noting that the team set some wrong expectations about the presentation. Had we not said, he goes on to say, had we not said anything and just shown May Inside Xbox show like we did last month, I suspect reactions might have been different. Clearly, we set some wrong expectations, and that's on us. We appreciate all the feedback and can assure you we will take it all in and learn as a team. Because obviously, we're not the only ones who were disappointed by the event.
Yeah, it's a half measure of damage control, I think, but did they really need to mess up yesterday to know that it was a mess up? Like, it felt very obvious. I don't really know how they could have rehearsed that show and thought, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, it feels like they were trying to draw people in, wasn't it? It was like they must have known it was a double A event pretty much. They must have known that going in. They're not daft. Like they know they're not showing the big guns. So it feels to me like it was a bit of duping almost. I don't want to. It seems harsh using that word, but it is kind of true. They kind of dupe people in a way, in my opinion. Now you can say, was that the fans' fault? For me, maybe it was fans getting other fans hyped and stuff like that. But then you look at their Twitter account, and one of the tweets said, pretty much said what was it? I can't remember what it was now. The games do the talking or changing or something. Some weird lingo they used, basically hyping up the event. And it's like, well, it's your own fault. You hyped it. You can't exactly blame the fans when you've hyped it on your own Twitter account, the official Xbox account.
Yeah, there's no escaping that.
5 million, Twitter followers or whatever they've got. It's like you can't then be turning around and saying like, oh well, maybe if people's expectation, it's like, well, the comments almost feel to me as if I know he is saying like we'll learn, but it's almost like he's pretty much saying, oh, you shouldn't have been as hyped or something. Well, it's like that's your fault.
I think a few people have said that. Like from the responses that I've seen online, a lot of people have seconded what we've already said in terms of our disappointment. Even though we have low expectations, people were still disappointed despite that. But the flip side of that is, I think other gamers who have watched have basically said, well, it's your guys' fault if you're disappointed. You shouldn't have expected anything. And we're like, man, we didn't. We honestly didn't. No. You don't need to tell us not to have expectations. We really didn't. But even then, what we saw was still lackluster. I don't want to say what we saw was bad, because the games itself, which we'll talk about a lot more as we go forward, were quite unique, and the majority of them had something cool about them. But the way that they were presented and the portrayal of the show in particular just didn't work for me, and I'm still mad about it now that I'm talking about it again.
Yeah, I think we should stress as well, like you've just touched on, we're not having a go at what we've seen in terms of the games and the developers with that. This is more solely at Microsoft, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty important to make that distinction, because I think maybe some people watching our reaction video might have thought like, oh, they're having if you didn't watch the whole video and saw like maybe the first minute or so when we were pretty annoyed, they might think, oh, I bet they've, absolutely shit on the whole show and stuff like that. It's like, not really. That wasn't really our intention. We're not shitting on we're not going, oh, these games awful, 1 out of 10 games and stuff like that. We're just saying that these are games that Microsoft shouldn't have started with. They're games that you have in like in the highlight reel, like an E3 press conference, these are the sort of games. I think you alluded to this yesterday, Perts. You have like a 10-minute highlight reel showing these games. It's like, oh, they look pretty cool. Yeah, that one looks good. Well, but you don't have it as like the main event, and that's what they portrayed it as. Like, these are the main Series X showcase games, and it's like, I don't think that's very fair on the games themselves. To be perfectly, like, I'm sure some of them developers in a way were happy that they were there. Like, oh look, we're at a big Xbox event, but they might look back and go, yeah, I don't know, maybe this wasn't the best way of doing it, because it's put a lot of pressure on. Puts a lot of pressure on even these games now, doesn't it? In a way, because people are thinking, oh, these are great games that we have to look for. And it's like, they're not really supposed to be that. So,
yeah, I mean, I said yesterday in our initial reaction video that I don't feel like they did their third parties any favors by the way that they actually presented the show. Games that would probably have been, I mean, you said, I think yesterday as well, that a lot of them might be on Game Pass, which is cool. A lot of these games probably will be picked up on Game Pass, I'm sure, but now, after seeing them in the way that we have seen them, I'm a little bit less interested, even though they don't look like bad games. Like, if they would have just popped up and been like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that in the highlight reel on whatever show. Like, let's give that a try. Because they were presented in the way that they were, it just, I don't know, like, I'm just a bit less interested in them now.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, Blitz. I think it's a mixed bag. I actually think some of the games there'll be a couple of games that probably have benefited from this in terms of like exposure, but I also think there's probably a couple of games that might suffer the opposite effect, just because they'll get lost in the whole, oh, the show was bad and stuff like that. So I think it might be a mixed bag for some of the games, because there is a few games where I've seen a few more people saying like, oh, that game looked pretty cool, and then there's been people saying, oh, I don't care about this game. So like everything, there'll be winners and losers, I assume, out of these games.
It very much depends on which way you view it, because like the opposite to what we've been saying so far is that some of these games obviously would never have primetime slots if they were a part of an E3 show, for example.
Yeah.
So now they have that primetime slot, but it may have actually harmed them rather than done them good. So I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out for some of them. I do want to see more. Like, again, I think it's really important to stress, I don't think they were bad games. There was a couple in there that I really didn't care about. But yeah, generally speaking, 3/4 of them looked decent. Like, even if they were AA, they look like interesting. I
like the look of that. The first one, Bright Memory Infinite.
That did look good.
That looked decent.
Allegedly developed by a single person
in China.
Yeah, it's an FPS game. Like you said, made by one person. It kind of looks like
Bulletstorm, Titanfall, Call of Duty, Crisis, all together.
Which is an interesting. That's interesting. But I actually thought, like, I think me and you said, at the start, this is. I think we both said at the same time, like, oh, this is a good start, because it was like, this looks quite cool. Like,
yeah, I like the look of it.
I mean, yeah, it was a decent start to the show, to be fair. And I like the bit at the end with the car, when the car, like, it was like a DeLorean sort of car. It looked pretty cool, wasn't it? And then you start driving, it's like, oh, this is really cool. I would be I do think that game looks good, but I would be a little bit wary just because we don't know sort of how long. That game could be a very short game if it's just been made by one person. True. I wouldn't imagine it's like a 20-hour epic or something like that. I'm assuming it's more of a maybe 3 to 4 hour experience, which I don't mind. Like, sometimes games are fun, just quick experiences.
Yeah, I'd be very shocked if that was a lengthy game, but either way, it did look fun.
I don't know whether they said anything about Game Pass, but that's definitely a good Game Pass game. If they can get that on Game Pass.
Yeah, if that came on Game Pass, I'd play it.
Because it looked pretty good. It looked pretty fun. I think we all like a good first-person shooter, don't we? Now and again, so
we do. Not sold on the name, but
no, the gameplay a bit of a strange one. Bright Memory, it's a bit of a mouthful.
BMI.
Bit of a mouthful.
BMI.
So what? Yeah, what else? They showed that. Was it Call of the Sea?
Call of the Sea.
Yeah, so Sea of Thieves, basically.
Yeah, we don't like Sea of Thieves, so I doubt.
No, we're not a massive fan of
like
Sea of Thieves. So. I'm not as sure on this one, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's a bit more of a.
It looked good.
Probably not.
As in terms of it looked nice.
Yeah, it looked nice.
But they've reported it as a first-person adventure puzzle game.
I've got to be honest, that puts me off. As soon as I see puzzle, I'm like, I'm not a fan of puzzle games. Got to be honest with you.
I'm sure there'll be some people that will get something out of it. I like the what game was it on Game Pass that I played?
The Turing Test, because I keep meaning to play it. Yeah, even though I don't like puzzle games, but you did say it's pretty reasonable, didn't you? With the puzzle, they're not like ridiculous.
Well, I was able to do them, so
yeah. So
I don't mind puzzle games. To be fair, it's been a while since I've played one, but they appeal if they're done right. The only thing that put me off, and the reason we led with the Sea of Thieves comparison, is that it kept doing the environment like clips for like from one to another, and the vistas look nice and everything looks cool. But there was just like, oh man, there could be nothing to do in here. So I'm hoping the secrets are actually cool, and I'm hoping the puzzles are like, oh wow, they're prominent. There's a lot to do, and it's not just like wade through some water, climb up some vines.
I've got to be honest, though, it's probably I think it's a game that I can't imagine any of us playing it. I don't think I find that unlikely.
It wouldn't be high on my list, but I'm waiting for a game like that actually does something that draws me in. And so
there's more games on this list I'd played before this, if you know what I mean. Like, so. I thought it looked pretty good though. It's funny though, wasn't it? We were just joking about the Sea of Thieves comparison. I actually thought it looked better than Sea of Thieves, to be honest with you. It looked more interesting than Sea of Thieves.
Just by looking at some vistas and environments.
I don't know. It just looked the same to me.
It looked similar.
That is a bit of a worry, but we'll have to see on that one, I guess. What was next? That chorus. You described it, but it's in the stream as a ace combat in space, basically.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I said, but yeah, ace combat something or another. Yeah. But it looked kind of weird. It looked like they were trying to be haunting with it in a way, but I don't really know. That's probably a game that would have had maybe 10 seconds on an E3 highlight reel, and maybe I'm doing it a disservice. I mean, it's a Deep Silver game, isn't it? So
yeah, it is.
You'd expect something decent, really, but.
I mean, their tagline, I'm just looking at their tagline is, this is a true evolution of the space combat shooter, which always makes me laugh when they put things like that, and it's like, every game says they're an evolution of something, and half of them aren't all.
Yeah.
But I mean, it might be. I'm not dissing the game. Maybe it is really good, but
that's the sort of game I can imagine signing into Xbox one day and seeing Matty playing for some reason.
Yeah. I think with that, for me, I would be more interested in the narrative, because there's not very often games like that have that much of a focus. Like they put a lot on the character there, didn't they? And their past, and what they're trying to reach as they embark on their journey. So the gameplay itself, I really couldn't care less about. It didn't look good. It didn't look bad, but the story itself looked kind of interesting.
I'm not really into flying games, I've got to be honest. Not a massive fan.
Sims like that aren't for me.
Not I think I tried maybe one. I don't know if you tried it as well, but I think I maybe played one Ace Combat game on the 360, but I was never really into. And there was like Tom Clancy's Hawks that I played. I remember that game.
I played the Hawks games.
They're decent games, but I always feel like they don't last long. You get like the initial thrill of like, oh, I'm in a plane, and I don't know. It seems to quickly, like after an hour, you're like, yeah, I've seen it all now. I don't really want to play anymore with this.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a bit more to Chorus, to be honest. If they're focusing like on the immersion of the single player experience, then. It could be cool, but I definitely want to see more before I get too carried away with being interested that much in it.
Do you want to just skip the next two games, lads? Dirt 5 and Madden.
I want to make a quick point about Dirt, because I know you two do. I will say that game. I will play that game. Like, I like Dirt. I actually I like the Dirt Rally games. They're more hardcore than the Dirt Rally games. They're more like, I don't know if you remember all the old Colin McRae games.
Yeah, I used to play them.
Really hard though, weren't they? They were tough, like really hard games.
I think that's why I stopped.
Dirt Rally is like that, really good. But I think Dirt 5 looks a bit more casual to me. It looked like they were going on that Forza Horizon approach, didn't it? I don't know if you know.
They're big shoes to fill, aren't they? Like,
but the game looked similar, didn't it? It was like the whole, a little bit more wacky, a little bit more sort of party.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like Forza. Like, I just think, to me, you're going to struggle against Forza. I think Forza's got that in the bag.
Yeah, my reaction to Dirt 5, it's summed up by their tagline. They say, no two races are ever the same. And I'm just kind of sat there like, yeah, okay then, if you say so. Like,
I'll definitely play it, but it's not a game I'm actually like anticipating. I'm not going to be chomping at the bit to play it. So.
Yeah, unpopular opinion. I think many people like racing games, but for me, there's just so many, and they all like. I know they're all unique in their own rights, but like as far as I'm concerned, if I've played one, I've played 100. Like unless it's really special, like Horizon, then I'm not feeling Dirt 5.
Yeah, I think you're right, Eld. I think we can skip over Madden because
none of us can.
Unfortunately, I'm not interested at all. I'm afraid to say, and it was a boring presentation. Let's be honest. I mean.
Well, I
They always
think
are, the
I
sports
mentioned it as well on the stream. We tried to stream. It didn't go that well, so it's not on the channel. But yeah, and when that guy came on, I was just like, who's this guy? But I just know they're going to market him as like some world star athlete I've never heard of, trying to sell me the game.
Exactly.
So, no, I'm not interested, sorry.
I'm sure if
there's
you're
a lot of
interested
people
in
out there,
NFL, like you know exactly like what's going on there, and he means a lot. But yeah,
There's no point
to
in
me.
getting into it.
to me that was
talking about
just
it, so.
I don't play those games, unfortunately.
Well, we had the Japanese game, Bandai Namco, Scarlet Nexus, which you described, Perks, as Devil May Cry with plants.
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, it looked interesting. It looked a bit different. It was kind of like anime style of Devil May, a little bit more anime than Devil May Cry, but it looked interesting. I wouldn't say it was like the game. I don't think it looked amazing. I think it looked interesting with the plant enemies and stuff. But yeah, I think that's a game that I think it'd be a game that I'd get to very late on. I don't think it wouldn't be a priority by any means, that game.
Yeah, I think with a game like that, especially with the way that it's stylized, I think you have to be a fan of that genre to jump into a game like that. I can't imagine that just gets picked up as, oh, I'll try that. I think you either like that kind of game, or you don't. I'm not expecting it to be anywhere near the levels of a Devil May Cry, but I mean, I might try it, maybe, if it... I don't know. Every now and then I do like a game like that, so although like the design itself is a little bit weird to me, I do kind of like those genres, that genre from time to time, so maybe I'll give that a try.
And then, well, we had I think the next game was probably, I don't know if you used to agree, probably one of the more interesting games in the whole show, which was Scorn.
Oh, definitely
was the weird,
for me.
Yeah, that did
very
look
strange,
very intriguing.
Well, they describe it as atmospheric first-person horror, and that's what it felt like. It felt like that would be the sort of game it would be. I mean, I think we thought first, didn't we? Oh, is this a new Alien game? Because of the design, it looked kind of like Alien,
like the tapestry, the crypts and stuff.
Yeah.
It definitely had that vibe.
It seems like they're going in that direction, like, unsettling. And some of the, I watched the trailer again, and some of the stuff's very weird in that trailer, like very disturbing stuff in there, which is good because that's the sort of a game you hope it is, like a weird, unsettling game. I mean, it's almost like the old horror games of the past, isn't it? The old PS1 horror games. There was a lot of weird games like that on PS1 and PS2. So I think it looks really interesting. I think that's a game that could surprise people potentially.
I'm really intrigued. Like that was the one that jumped out to me, especially, I'm a massive horror fan, whether it's survival horror, like FPS horror, like whatever, I'm down for it, going in whichever platform. But the only thing that stops me from being too carried away with this is we literally saw nothing of the game. Like,
no, that is true.
That could be anything. They've called it a first-person horror adventure game. God, I mean, it could be anything. Anything could happen. I have no idea what the game looks like. The tease of it was great. The environment and the atmosphere of the trailer looked really, really cool to me. I'm really excited on that basis, but I need to see the gameplay because there's too many throwaway games like that. But fingers crossed, that's the one that I came away from yesterday's show and thought, I definitely want to see more of Scorn.
I think that's an overall thought from the show, though. I wanted to see some more gameplay.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem. I mean, just going on to it as a whole for a minute. This was the whole problem with the whole show. There was just, I know we complain saying, we'd like more AAA games, but at least if they'd have showed some gameplay of these AA games, we might have been a bit more like, oh, that looks really good actually, but there was just nothing, was there, to get really excited.
There's no real substance, no.
No, and it's like, that's what I mean about, like, I don't think the developers themselves have done themselves a favour, really. It's weird because I don't really know how it works. I assume it's the developer that decides really what they're going to show, but then it's probably in conjunction with Microsoft, so it's probably an arrangement. But I'd have liked to have shown gameplay, really. But maybe there was something where Microsoft didn't want to show too much, and it's a weird sort of thing. But I think in general they made a mistake by not doing that. But it's funny because the next game on the list is that we saw was the Second Extinction, which was the sort of Left 4 Dead meets dinosaurs type game.
That was was that Turok? The one
that
it looked like Turok, like a spiritual successor. It was, but apparently I've read a bit more about this. It's meant to be more like a Left 4 Dead type game, like kind of, but with dinosaurs.
Yeah, I saw
which
that
seems
it was
interesting.
more a co-op game, and it's funny because they didn't look like that at all.
No, it didn't. Now this is the problem. This again, just going back to things as a whole. This is the problem. Like, I learned more from going and looking in different places in the show, which I think is a terrible sign. It's like I shouldn't have to be looking at things on their own Twitter pages and stuff like that and own trailers. This should have been explained what these games are properly in the show. And
well, you should always be able to do that as like
I know.
Like, here's a little bit more information, but I do agree. Like the main point of that game was like, I don't know, man. To me, like, I don't know if you guys have played it, but did you ever play Serious Sam?
Yeah, I played
just kind of looked like that, like just guns everywhere, things all over your screen, like a million things happening at once, and just it's not like that at all.
Definitely one of them games that you'd have to play as a group. If you play that on your own, I think it'd be boring. But if you played it in a dedicated group, like 3 or 4 players, you might get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, they said it's 3-player, didn't they? So it's another trio game.
I think we all, I don't mind a bit of dinosaurs now and again. Like Dino Crisis used to be really fun. So.
Yeah, and that's not a fun game in essence, but yeah,
good game though. It was a good game. Fucking scary. Really scary, actually.
That's what I meant. Terrifying. It's way more horror than it is fun. But I mean, Second Extinction for me, I think that's probably a game that when we have a drought and we're all like, oh, what should we play? And
could try it. Let's download definitely, that. Again, another Game Pass game where I'd go, I'll try that.
I think you probably get 10 hours of decent time in that. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but 3 players, it could pass the time.
Yeah, and I mean, this next game on the list this was one in the show where I think I said it first. Oh, is this Cyberpunk?
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, because it didn't say. And I was like, I forgot. Because it had the same sort of setting, but I was like, so it's called The Ascent. And again, this wasn't really obvious what type of game this was, but apparently this is more like a Diablo type game, apparently. But set in a cyberpunk world, which I didn't know until I read more about it. Again, another one where it's like, well, if I'd have known that, maybe I would have had a bit more interest in it. But I've got to be honest, though, I did think the game looked pretty decent. It looked cool. I don't know about you guys. I like cyberpunk as a setting. I just think it's really cool. I like Deus Ex. I like cyberpunk. So
I'm gonna get bored of it if people keep going down this route. Cyberpunk is obviously a conversation for another time, but that's not definitely a game that would have been focused with these. This, that's AAA, maybe even further. Yeah. But I don't know, man. When I see a game in that world and I just think, oh, that looks like Cyberpunk, and it's a double A.
That is the problem now, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. Like, again, when you read up on it, it's like a co-op RPG or something like that.
More like Diablo. I've got to say,
more like Diablo. That's great, but it didn't feel that way.
I know you're quite a big fan, aren't you, Diablo? Because you actually,
I am a massive
probably say it's one
Diablo
of your favourite games of the generation, which I think that's fair enough, because I think Diablo 3 Ultimate Edition was really good. But I've got to say, I'm getting a little bit fed up of these type of games, these Diablo type games. There seems to be a lot of them, a lot of copycat type games. I've played a few on like Game Pass and stuff like that, and they're just not Diablo. Do you know what I mean? This feels to me like, it might be interesting, but I'd rather just play Diablo. I know it's a different setting, but if I'm going to play a game like this, a top-down co-op game, I'm just going to play Diablo, the next Diablo 4, probably, because I don't know.
I reckon
I don't disagree with that. I think there can be quite a chasm as well. Like Diablo, or at least in my mind, Diablo is the king in that sector. So absolutely. Anything else kind of struggles to get there. I know there's a few PC games which we won't focus on too much right now that do rival, but The Ascent for me, I watched the trailer like you. I read a little bit afterwards to find out what else it was about, and what I read was more interesting than what I saw. Yeah. So that doesn't particularly bode well.
I think you'll give this a chance, Sud, when it comes out.
It is possible. I might give it a go, yeah. Especially if it's, again, I keep thinking about this, especially if it's on Game Pass, but this is the power of Game Pass, isn't it? Because it's just easy, if you're not willing to pay the 20, 25, 30 quid that some of these games are asking, but you can try them out, then that's all good. So that's definitely not a problem at all. But yeah, you're right. I might give it a go. Possibly. It wouldn't be a priority or anything, but if I saw it on Game Pass, like, oh yeah, I remember that from the show, I might give it a chance. But I think, actually, I don't know, you might disagree. I think the next game on this list is probably the one for me that I think's probably got the most potential out of all the games shown. And that is The Medium, which was the sort of, it was it's next-gen psychological horror game from, I think they're called Bloober Team. They made Blair Witch, Observer, Layers of Fear, yeah. Now they're all, I've only played Blair Witch, I've not played Observer and Layer of Fear. Observer's meant to be highly regarded. The Blair Witch game, I don't know. I didn't really like it.
Hit and miss that, wasn't it?
Hit and miss. Some people really do. Layers of Fear I've not played, so I can't speak on that. But Observer's really highly regarded, so it is definitely going to be more of a AA game, this, absolutely. But it looked like it maybe had a bit more of a budget, considering they're using the composer of Silent Hill. Akira Yamaoka or something? I've never heard of him, but I know, obviously, from reading he did the Silent Hill soundtrack, which I think we can both say per Silent Hill, obviously. Amazing soundtrack.
Oh yeah, for sure. Soundtrack, ambience, everything that goes with that. Yeah. So I mean, I didn't know until you just mentioned it there.
So that makes me think
it's something to look out for, unless they've spent all their budget on that.
Well, yeah, the games. It just looked interesting, though, didn't it? The concept looks interesting. It looked like it would be. It looked psychological by what they were doing with the images of the birth and then the blood in her hands and stuff like that. It looked like, oh, this is going to be maybe interesting. I do like games like that try and play on your mind and stuff like that. So
yeah, they're kind of like just below survival horrors for me. I'm down for a bit of psychological horrors. I don't know. When we were watching the trailer yesterday, all I could really think was like, this is a bit weird.
It was weird, definitely strange.
I don't know. I hesitate to say this because I don't want to get too carried away with games that we haven't seen anything of, like with Scorn. This might be like second on my list, typically, of things that intrigue me. But again, it looks too AA like for me.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be AA based off what they've made, because Blair Witch was definitely AA. Observer, again, Observer is meant to be really good, but it is AA, and Layers of Fear is AA as well. So, I mean, they might have a bigger budget for this game potentially. Hopefully,
yeah. Like I said, it's all gone on Yamaoka. So,
well, yeah,
just I don't know, man. Like,
at least they'll have a good soundtrack.
I want to see more about this.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see more. I think we're going to say this about every game, to be very honest. We want to see a little bit more. Like, show us more, which should have been the whole point of yesterday.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Interesting story, interesting concept of like living between two worlds and stuff like that, like reality and a spirit realm. So I'm intrigued, but again, cautiously optimistic about the medium.
Yeah. Now, this next game, I actually thought was probably the worst one shown at the whole press conference. And that was the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. And that was the one, if you remember, that had the weird dolls.
This was the 360 looking game.
I will say I don't agree 360, but I will say to you, this is the game to me that was most like, this does not look very good. Like, I mean, they were talking, it just didn't, I don't know, it was, maybe I'll be wrong, but it didn't, there was something about it, it just didn't look right to me. The graphics looked strange. I don't know, it wasn't a great trailer, I didn't think, to be honest.
The graphics were poor.
I think this was the one that I said it looks like The Darkness, didn't I? Have you played that
it did look
back
a bit
in
like
the
Darkness,
day?
which I guess is cool. The Darkness was a cool game, but maybe it will be like a Darkness type game, and that would be good, because the Darkness, I really like the Darkness, actually. I like both of them, but I don't know, it felt like a last gen game to me, this felt more like an early Xbox One game or something, rather than a next gen game, which is a bit disappointing, but yeah, I don't really have much more to say about that one. I don't think that'd be a game that, I don't know, I'm not sure I would play.
That looked terrible. I will not be playing that game.
I don't think so.
The guy looked like the Joker or something at the start, and I'm just definitely not open to playing this game, and it's the worst game on the list in terms of graphics.
I agree, I think so as well.
Or at least
I
just
think it's
everything about it, really.
The worst
they spent quite a lot of time on it as well. There was a lot of music and dancing and focusing quite hard on like the Masquerade as a title, so I'm not feeling this game. I did like you, I did actually enjoy The Darkness many years ago, so I guess it's got that going for it, but I just can't see this being a prominent game.
No, absolutely not. And we got a bit of a surprise, I guess, didn't we, with the Accuser? I didn't expect to see Accuser games to show up in a Microsoft press conference, which I know you two obviously don't really know much about it, but quite a prominent series on PlayStation. So that was interesting. I thought the fact that it's a new coming out day and date at the same time as the PS4 version, interesting, definitely.
Well, I thought you'd be happy with it.
Oh, I am, yeah, definitely.
See it.
I mean, I as you know, I've said before, I'm a big fan of the Accuser franchise, and I know Matty likes them as well. Both quite big fans of them. Just really fun game. I mean, I actually thought that was one of the better trailers. To me, that is the sort of trailer that should be at the show. Like, it shows what the game is properly. I don't know if you've got that sense as well. You can tell that is the game from the trailer.
I knew
It
bits
showed a bit
about
of the
Yakuza
drama. It
from
showed
you.
some of the combat.
So,
You know, that's what you expect from a trailer, and I thought that was one of the best showings, actually. I know it's one of them games that some people won't care about at all, and some people will, but I just thought the trailer in general showed what you're going to be doing in the game, and if you like that, you're going to like that, so...
Yeah, like,
it's
even
good.
though it's not a big thing for me, like you said, I mean, you're definitely the Yakuza fan of the three of us, but I did appreciate the fact that they showed some good cinematics, even if I wasn't that interested. They were relatively lengthy, so they didn't half-bake them or anything. And then once they were done with that, they also showed you some gameplay as well. So,
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like a good mix of the two, and I think it would have been cool if that was the theme for the show.
Definitely.
I think they did.
Agree.
If Yakuza would have gone first and everything else followed suit, then that would have been really cool. I would have been happy with that. Even if we did think like I'm not so interested in that game, or that looks a bit too AA for my liking.
Well, not every game is going to be like you can. It's like anything. Like not every game is going to be your style, but you don't mind as long as like there's some stuff there that's
So that was my take on Yakuza. Like I'm not going to play it. I don't enjoy the Yakuza games, but I think the way that they actually sold it to us yesterday was really good, and I appreciated that. I thought it was one of the strongest parts of the conference.
No, I agree.
Show, not conference.
I think the best thing as well is even if you're not interested in this game itself, I think it's just good for the Xbox in general because we definitely don't get as many Japanese games as this console should get, do we? That's definitely for sure. It has been improving. Like I know, like the Final Fantasy games, for example, are all coming on Game Pass, aren't they? Soon.
Yeah.
The sort of old style Final Fantasy game, which I know again, like probably not interest you to, but it's just in general, I just think it's a good thing for the console to have more. The more games of decent quality on the console, the better. At the end of the day, it improves the console, doesn't it? That gives you more choice. So,
can't disagree. Yeah, absolutely.
Agree with everything. And now we're on to the final one.
Oh,
the one
actually, this might be the most I know we said about Vampire the Masquerade, but I didn't expect anything from that. This is probably the worst part of the show, actually.
Well, considering we were promised gameplay.
Yeah, I mean...
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
And it's very disappointing because, as you know, I am a big fan of the last two Assassin's Creed games, especially Odyssey, which is right up there for me with one of the best games of the whole generation. So I think the game... Look, it's one of the things... I don't have any doubt this game will be good. I know it'll be good. But the way they showed it off to like people that haven't played the other games, it's like, what are they showing you? They're disappointing to me. Like, there's no gameplay. It was all cut trailers and cut cinematics of things that won't happen in game.
Was I going mad? Am I going mad? Or I definitely did see that it said there would be gameplay exclusive.
No, absolutely. No, they did.
Okay,
I mean, they said that for the whole thing, and they've just...
I don't remember the banner that kept popping up across the bottom of the screen, but whether it said gameplay or like exclusive, or because they really focused hard on getting you hyped for that Valhalla segment. And you know what? Sometimes you can watch a cinematic and think like, "Oh, that was really cool." Oh man, I wish they would have showed gameplay. Sorry, but I don't know about you guys. Maybe it was just because I had a sour taste in my mouth from the previous like 40 minutes of the show, but. That Valhalla segment was crap.
Oh, it was terrible. It was the worst part of the show.
Nothing for the game.
Yeah, I thought it was the worst part of the show. And that really annoys me because, like I said, I think the game will be really good, and it annoys me that they've showed it off like this because I think some people like you guys that haven't played the last few Assassin's Creed that might think, oh, this looks interesting. Maybe I'll give this one a go. I like the setting. But I think we all agreed we like the Viking sort of setting.
Yeah, like the Norse theme really appeals to me. It's definitely something that goes for me. Yeah. But my God, like the way that they marketed that yesterday was just
this won't be
interesting.
This won't be pulling me back in because we played 3. I think Perk's played 3 as well, and since then I haven't picked up another Assassin's Creed game. Yeah,
I despise 3,
and this hasn't done anything to bring me back yet.
No, that's disappointing because I remember, I think you both actually said though, it's, because of the setting, you might like give it a go because it's like, it's interesting. But seeing these trailers probably puts you back a bit because it's like, well, what are you really showing me? You're not showing me anything. Now, they have said, I think, I did see on Twitter last night, one of the developers said, like, yeah, we understand. I think he pretty much admitted they kind of messed up a bit and said, like, we will be showing a lot more, obviously. So that is good that they're going to show more. But in general, I like the setting. I like the fact that a lot of it's set in England as well, which is where we live, so it's cool. I think the game will be really good.
We don't live in England.
No, sorry, okay, UK. I do apologise.
In the UK.
Yes. But, even though me and Curtis are English, but...
Yeah.
But you don't live in England.
Yeah, no, we do live in Wales.
Back
No,
on
that's fair
topic,
enough.
guys. Back on topic. I remember when we saw the first look at Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and even though I was a bit disenchanted with the series at the time, or the franchise even, I remember seeing that trailer for Odyssey and thinking like, wow, that actually looks really cool. Valhalla looks crap.
Such a good game. Honestly.
And it's driving me insane because I know it's not going to be crap, but it's like, why do that?
Well, they've said, haven't they, it's going to be a shorter game than Odyssey. Which I actually don't mind.
That doesn't bother me.
Because if there's one criticism about Odyssey, it is massive. It is a huge game. Like, it's Witcher levels. It's not Witcher levels in terms of... I mean, Witcher is better than it. Don't get me
not
wrong,
in terms of quality.
No, but it's Witcher levels in terms of length and like how much side quests and stuff there is. Which I love the game. Like, don't get me wrong, I thought the game was great. I thought the main characters were fantastic. It was just a fun game to play, but I do like the fact that maybe this is more of a, what would you call a grounded experience, more of a shorter experience.
Yeah, I don't mind. Like we've touched on a lot in the past. Like I don't mind a more linear experience if that experience is quality from top to bottom. Like that's I think it might be a more
story focused experience because like the old Assassin's Creed, they went heavy on story, and then they kind of like with Assassin's Creed 3 and then with Black Flag, they went more in a we don't really care much about the story anymore. We're just making you have a massive open world with nothing in. So yeah, I'm glad they're going back maybe to the roots of focusing on story a lot. I think that's important for the franchise. But yeah, I think overall, there were some decent moments in the press conference, but as we all know, it was just a very disappointing conference, wasn't it?
It was.
Summed up by that ending. It was so somber, the ending was... oh my God.
Oh, what about the last 15 minutes? We were just talking as well, talking about nothing pretty much. I was like,
I think what we should touch on as well are games that weren't at the conference, because a lot of people were disappointed that games like Elden Ring weren't there. Obviously, we speculated quite a few games beforehand. What will we see at Inside Xbox video? And that was like, I think you brought up like maybe potentially Batman. People were speculating Harry Potter games being shown.
Gary Potter.
Gary Potter?
Gary Potter. Yeah, there's a thing going around. Someone made a mistake calling it Gary Potter instead of Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Let's see the Gary Potter RPG. But no, there was definitely some games that were like, I mean, where was Cyberpunk? I mean, we know now where Cyberpunk was. They're doing their own event in June.
I did not expect Cyberpunk yesterday. I mean, for anyone that listened to our preview show a week ago now, I had such low expectations. I mean, you were very optimistic that we were going to get titles left, right, and center.
I thought Cyberpunk was going to be there. I'm not going to lie.
I knew it was going to be bad. Like I predicted not much was going to happen.
You predict every event's going to be bad.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, if you
consistent.
Think of it, you can't be disappointed then.
Yeah, I'm consistent with my pessimism. Yeah. Like that's one thing that can't be denied. But
it's funny though, because even though like you didn't expect much, you were still disappointed.
I was angry as well. Like I just wanted so.
I guess you've calmed down a little bit more now.
Yeah,
not quite as like
the more I get on a roll, the more I start to build that rage. I don't want to be doing that, but again, I think my final thoughts on the show were I didn't have expectations. I wasn't angry because we didn't see AAA games left, right, and center. It was just more about the presentation and the way that they actually marketed a lot of the things they did. I wasn't a big fan of the production, and I think they made. I saw some people say yesterday it was as drastic as the launch of the Xbox One.
No, definitely
no way near.
Absolutely not.
Sorry.
Like there's a lot of troll comments going around like that. It's nothing like that at all. But I do not. I mean, I'm yet to see somebody that says, "Hey, that was actually a quite a good show. I enjoyed that."
I have heard people say. I've heard people say things like, "Oh, I was interested in some of the games there."
So yeah, I mean, like the show as a whole. Like that's what
most
we say.
people.
Like,
99% of people said there was problems.
Yeah, like we liked some of the games. They were intriguing. Some of them were quite unique. Again, that's really cool. That's refreshing. But the show itself, my God, if there's another like 3 of these to come, then I couldn't care less.
Don't you want to see Greenberg's Xbox One fridge?
Oh yeah, that was the best part of the show. That was
highlight of the show. That for me.
My God.
Can I just say as well, why on earth why have they got absolute worse mics than us? They have. Like, are you telling me that Microsoft can't send them decent microphones and cameras? It's embarrassing. I actually think that's embarrassing for them.
That actually set the tempo, didn't it? That set the pace for the show as a whole. That introduction.
Embarrassing.
Oh wow! Yeah,
I think what we
his
found
hand was
though,
like going through. Did you see his hand was like disappearing?
This has happened though with loads. Like, look at Sky Sports. We're football fans in UK. Everyone who's had to come to terms with the technology, they've all
Terrible.
got bad audio and stuff, and you think surely there must be some tech guy at these companies that's like,
you think
get
so?
them this. That'll help massively.
But especially for Microsoft. Microsoft is a software king. Like, are you telling me they can't do things? It's annoying. But anyway, I mean, away from that for a minute. Yeah, you were talking about some of the games. Yeah, I was. Look, I understand what you were saying about Cyberpunk. Maybe it makes more sense for them to shut off for their own event, gets more hype for maybe the PlayStation crowd and the Xbox crowd. I do get that, but if
the
I was
event
Microsoft,
wasn't big enough for it.
no, probably not. I mean, looking back, yeah, maybe they thought, no, we're not doing it at this event. But even though Xbox has the marketing, so that's my point. You would have thought Microsoft would have done all the stops to get Cyberpunk there. They've got the marketing for one of the biggest games of the year that's going to sell millions of copies. I mean, it's weird to me. It's very strange. I think they should. And CD Projekt Red probably obviously had the final decision. Maybe they decided not to, but I just disappointed Microsoft not getting it. Because even if they had just one or two more games than they had sprinkled in with them AA games, I actually think that people wouldn't have minded as much if they'd have had an Elden Ring, if they'd have had Cyberpunk, and then the rest of the AA games. I think people would have been like, oh, okay, well, we saw some cool stuff there. So that's what disappointed me. The fact that Assassin's Creed was the only AAA game and it didn't even show anything. So it may as well not have been there.
That was their big hitter and it absolutely bombed.
So, yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, I guess there's other stuff would have been nice to see. I really do want to see this Harry Potter RPG if it exists. I don't know about you, Eld, as well. I do really want to see it.
Yeah, I think...
I'm actually really interested in it.
I think they could tell a really good story with that. They've got a fantastic world. And everyone, I mean, if you're a fan of Harry Potter, who didn't want to experience Hogwarts as your own character and stuff?
I loved those PS2 and PS1, and they were so fun.
Did you play with me and Matty when Voldemort's head was on the back of Neville Longbottom?
I do remember. I just remember the purposely. What was it when you played like Crab and Goyle and you purposely get the house points took off them and stuff?
That's 10 points from Slytherin. What are you doing?
It used to be so glitchy and stuff like that. Oh, it was great. I love that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd want this one to be a bit more like serious and probably darker. I'd certainly want it to be darker.
I think it would. I think it will be.
I think they could pull it off. A development studio could pull this game off.
Well, the films did.
Can you imagine being able to explore the world as well? Oh, it'd be so good.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. They've got so much. They've already got the perfect world setting and lore there to utilize. So if they can create a good story in that, it's going to be a hit.
Definitely. Yeah, there was just some games that I think we want to see the next Batman. We want to see this Elden Ring, see what it's all about, especially because it's your name as well.
I definitely want to see Elden Ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Not too many people want to see Elden Ring.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, the game. Yes, we do want to see the game.
Yes, definitely. But we are obviously going to see these games shortly, aren't we? I don't think it's going to be long now before some. I don't know if you two saw. There was, Edge magazine, the gaming magazine. Mm-hmm. They had a little thing on their Twitter saying the next generation is coming, May 21st, and everyone's speculating that might be something to do with PlayStation. Which is interesting. That's only in 2 weeks' time, so I'm not sure it is going to be. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it's a red herring.
I don't know.
But they're clearly showing something, so if it's a game or something, so that's cool.
PlayStation must be rubbing their hands together after seeing the backlash or the negative feedback from this.
Yeah, they can. They definitely have a chance to seize the advantage here because they. Let's be frank. The PlayStation was on the back foot a bit, wasn't it, in the last few months?
Xbox were hitting all the right marks until this event. In my opinion. So
this feels like someone's just give a hand up to someone. Like, I'll help you up, mate. Now, whether Sony actually grab the hand, and get up is a different matter. But they've got a chance now. So, because Xbox, I think before this event, we can all agree Xbox's marketing's been great. They've marketed the console well. I like the way they unveiled the console at the Game Awards. It was a nice surprise. They showed Hellblade looked great, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good start, and they've been good with their marketing. They've been transparent with what they're doing until this event, where they kind of lied and said it was gameplay. They haven't been transparent there, and it just feels like a bit of what do they call it? The tide turning.
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't think it's catastrophic for them.
No, I don't either.
But, this
they need to be careful
type
now.
of show...
They need to be careful.
Like I said before, if they've got like the 2 or 3 more of these lined up, scrap them. Don't bother. You're not scoring any points by doing that.
But I'd just say don't do any more now until the first party event. You can do them afterwards. Yeah. Like do a few of these sort of... I don't mind doing these events afterwards because you've seen the big hitters. Then it's like anything else is a bonus kind of thing, you know. I just think they need to. They probably will have to do something in June. I think not an event like this, but they'll have to do some sort of a reveal of something.
Well, we're going to hear from 343 individually, aren't we? That's what's been said. So whether that's in June or whether that'll follow on from what we see in July, because they'll obviously be part of the first party show.
I don't know if you saw as well. There was also rumours, this first party event. It might not just be a first party event. There might actually be some third party sprinkled in.
Of course there will be. I said that last week because 100%.
I think you did.
You'll see way more of there's no way they're going to just fill a whole show with first party stuff. They wouldn't have enough. I would. I mean, I do think they could probably get away with doing like an hour show for the first party, but I think with this as well, they probably need to show for a few third party games just to appease people that want to see, big third party games. That's it, and that's really important. They need to show big third party games as well. Like, don't supplement your big hitters now with garbage, because we've already had one garbage show, but the games weren't garbage themselves. Don't make a great first party showing and then be like, hey, let's dilute it with a bit of a crap supplement. Let's not do that.
Well, I did want to bring up one kind of final thing really here with the show and stuff. The Matt Booty, who was I think he was the guy that was introduced by Greenberg, wasn't he? Second person on.
Yeah.
He actually, if you go back and listen, he says something very interesting that people have picked up on. He says something like, don't quote me on this because it might not be exact, but this is kind of what he said. He said something around the lines of, we'll obviously be showing our first party games at our own event with the likes of, and he mentioned Obsidian, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory. And people were saying, okay, that's fine. But then he said, well, what didn't he mention? He didn't mention Playground Games, who are rumoured to be working on Fable.
Yeah,
he didn't mention The Initiative either, who are meant to be doing this massive quadruple A game. Now, that does worry me slightly. I know people might say, oh, maybe he just forgot and hate in the moment. Maybe he just meant, he wants to keep them close to his chest, doesn't want to spoil too much. But I don't know if you've got that same sense. That worries me a little bit that he didn't mention them. It makes me think, is this first party event not going to be as good as we all think? Is it going to be another sort of disappointing one? Because if it is, I think they're in trouble.
I don't want to read too much into that. I mean, if he's going to list through all the developers and the teams that they've put together in the last few years, I mean, he's going to be there all day.
True.
So I'm really not going to read too much into that. But my God, if it comes true that some of the real players in that space are not present at the first party event, then wow.
I think we all want to see Obsidian's game because I think we're all fans of Obsidian, aren't we? We do like Obsidian.
All right.
Yeah, I know they've made some good games in the past. Fallout New Vegas, Knights of Republic 2, which I know it wasn't as good as the first one, but it was still a fun game.
They got rushed on that, to be fair to them.
Exactly. And they've made Outer Worlds, which I really liked. So I am looking forward to seeing, it's rumoured to be a new RPG, so see what that is. Ninja Theory, Hellblade looks cool. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. There's rumoured to be, they're meant to be working on something else as well. Double Fine, I've got to be honest, I don't really care. They make sort of games, adventure type games and games that, not just adventure games, but they make them sort of games. And Psychonauts, I've never really played. I'm not interested. So look, they might surprise us and make something cool, but I'm not interested. So if it was just that, obviously Halo, we're going to see Halo, of course, we're going to see that as well. But if it was only them, I don't know about you, I'd be quite disappointed.
I mean, I wouldn't.
If we don't see Fable.
I wouldn't be invigorated because I do want to see. No. I really want to see something from Fable.
We want to see what this new studio is working on. This quadruple A studio that's supposed to be on the levels of a Naughty Dog or something like that. I mean, that's at the end of the day, we might be overhyping it, but at the end of the day, they were the ones that said quadruple A. So
they are, but as I was saying, I want to see more from Fable.
Absolutely.
Because I really want a new Fable game, and I want them to give me something that's a little bit more tangible than just the rumours. And then also, with the Initiative, I agree.
I just want to see what it is. There is rumours, by the way.
If you're hyping it this big, it has to be something.
Well, I was going to... you two might hate this, because I know you're not fans of... I think you said you're not fans of reboots, really, are you? In general.
Not from a quadruple
Maybe
A.
Fable, but... There is rumours, I don't know if you saw this as well, but it's very heavy rumours it's meant to be a Perfect Dark reboot that the Initiative's working on now.
I'm not having that.
Now, I will say, I know people are going to be like, some people might moan. If it is something completely different, then I don't mind. If it's something literally that's unrecognisable, it's not even recognisable from Perfect Dark, then if it's in name only, basically.
No.
then I'm not going
No,
to.
I'm not. No way.
But if it's something new, it's not even
Quadruple A needs to be a new IP.
Anything like that. This is the first ever quadruple A studio / game. Blah blah blah. No, has to be unique. It has to be new. It cannot have any tendencies towards past titles, past games. Even if they do build it again from the ground up, do not give people that ammunition to say, "Oh, look, it's just Perfect Dark they've been working on for 10 years or whatever it turns out to be when it launches." No, man, that doesn't work for me.
You can't have a quadruple A that's a reboot. Surely that has to be a new IP. Otherwise, what's the point in branding it as a quadruple A?
I mean, I guess so. I do agree with you. I do agree on one point. It probably should be a new IP. I'm not gonna. If I see it, it's Perfect Dark. I'm not gonna immediately go, "Oh, this is shit" or something. Because, I mean, it could be something completely different. I do kind of like the whole first-person sci-fi setting with shooters. So, I do think it could be interesting. But I do know what you mean. I would also like to see something new, but I'm not going to just outright dismiss it as Perfect Dark. But I just wanted to kind of warn everyone beforehand that is I'd say a sizable rumour.
To be honest, I guess if that rumour did become true, I wouldn't be annoyed. I'd just be disappointed because I'd be like, a quadruple A title I think should be a new IP. And if it is announced as that, then I would just, I'd be very disappointed. But
Fair enough. Well, I guess we'll wait and see on that one. Like everything.
It is what it is.
But, I just really hope before you finish. I really hope this after this July event we're not all sat here again going, "Oh my god!" Because I don't want that feeling again. I do not want the same feeling as E3 2013.
You're buying a PS5 anyway, lad. You'll be fine.
Well, I don't know. I'm still on the fence, to be honest with you. I'm one of the customers.
I think you're falling off that fence into the PS5 field.
Well, this event certainly didn't help things, but I'm not going to base it on just this event. We've got a long way to go. Let's be honest. PS5 could be in a mess for all we know. They've not shown anything yet, so.
True that.
We'll have to wait and see on that one.
We will. But that brings the end to the podcast. So thanks for listening. If you are listening to us on YouTube, please like, subscribe and comment with your opinions on what we've covered today. And also, if you're listening to us on any audio platform, please leave us a nice review and pass on the pod. You can also follow the podcast on social media on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at ChetReachPod. The links will be in the description below, and you can follow the guys on social media. Where can people find you, Sud?
So it's just on Twitter at David10Spud.
Perks?
I'm at JG Perks.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at LEL3Ds and 9N for Instagram. Anyway, thanks for listening as ever, and we'll be back next week to discuss some more gaming news. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye.